Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've drawn the blank, but do I have a bingo? My first thoughts are that I don't. W and U don't go great together. I'm close to Woorara, but I am going to quickly squiz through the alphabet and see if anything comes to mind. Nothing so far. Still nothing. Difficult to think of prefixes or suffixes which would give a reasonable candidate play. OUS ending. Out prefix. Okay, so nothing. So how to sort the rack out? Well, I could play war, getting rid of W and U, but that retains double O. Do I have an alternative? I could just play OW. And I think I will. I think this is... Well, this doesn't look very good at all. So Woo would certainly be better than OW. So how does Woo compare with War? Would I rather have ARU blank or OO blank? I think ARU blank. I'm going with this. Well, a balanced rack and a good scoring tile in the J. Should I not bingo? And I think it's unlikely. Nothing has jumped to mind, but it is very balanced, and without the J, the tiles are pretty bingo-y. Not seeing a 7 with this rack, just considering the floaters on the board. Not seeing anything, and I'll take the time while opponents are thinking to run through the alphabet again, which I think is good practice whenever you've got a blank and haven't seen a bingo. Not seeing anything. Jerk onto an E, but not a bingo. No, so I'm not seeing a bingo here, in which case I'll be looking to play off the J for score and the U if I can. So I've got Dural and Durell on my rack, and the J at the moment does go above the O of Woo. Well, finally, after a very long time, opponent does play, and it's a blocky play. PHT takes nothing after it, and he's taken out my dual spot. So, what options do I have? I have Durat onto the T, but the J doesn't get tripled. Apo is good. So, and Uppo is good. So what I do have is JEU and Uppo for 31. The rack leaves pretty good. I'm not seeing anything better. Just the one vowel, but I do have a blank. So there are bingo prospects here. Through an A or an I would have Warrigal. At the moment, pretty much no floaters at all. And this is a rack with very few candidate plays. J takes nothing in front, so Je has shut the board down, and PHT has also shut the board down. So the action turns, I think, to row I. HOW is good, so I have War in that spot. Uppo only takes an N after it. Column 10 available. Woo does take a number of floaters, including a T, but not an R. Just 9 points for opponent, and if he's holding an S, he's created an S lane. Hod only takes an S at the end, which doesn't assist me. So I could play Roll, keeping GR blank. And if opponent is sitting on a bingo, this triple letter square next to an A may not be as useful to him as it otherwise would be if he was, for example, juggling high-scoring tiles. However, look at this score. Dismal, only 12 points. That's 5 more points, but it's holding back the R, and it's creating a new S lane, so that's not actually better than Roll. Or it's not hugely better. Roll does provide this triple letter square. I could play Drawl. Which opens the board up. Let me see what this scores. It's 10 points. If opponent played an S bingo in column 14, it wouldn't get doubled, as indeed it wouldn't in row J. And I'm not providing any vowels next to premium squares. The score is dismal. I'm going with this. Great, that is looking a lot better. I have Gia Hours, which plays in column 14 and row J. Outrageous, through an O or an S, neither available. Do I have something through the L of Drawl? I think I have Gourami as a 7. G-O-U Rami. But that doesn't do anything which Gia Hours doesn't do. Not seeing anything through the L. The W doesn't look promising with G and U on my rack. Yeah, opponent has a pretty strong rack. And my Gia Hours play doesn't play parallel to dialers, but does play here for 66 points. Pretty horrendous. Coact is good, which would sort the rack out to some extent, but leave a poor rack leave. I'm not in a position to benefit from column 15 to any great extent. I do have Coat, which actually isn't too bad. Double AC better than double A. Just 15 points between us. None of the floaters on the board are going to assist me. This rack is a very long way from a bingo. A Tosia is good through an I, but that stops one square short of a double word square. It does, however, play in row D, but won't score as much as Coat. Now, what about a play in column 8 down from the R? That would score well if I could get the C doubled. Not seeing anything. So I do have options. However, most of them are around where my opponent has just played. So he's taken my Coat spot. Atosia, fortunately, does remain. No, it doesn't, because it would go one square beyond the I, and Juve only takes an E and an S. I have a Tok on my rack. That doesn't play anywhere. I do have Coat in column 13 here. 22 points, not bad. Absolute rubbish, in fact, because Ada isn't good. what to do. I could play Ark. 17 points, but that rack leave doesn't look good. Can't see anything through the W. 14 minutes on my clock. A Tosia in column 4 scores almost nothing. Well, let's see if opponent comes back. If I played Coact in column 5, I would be retaining all 3 A's, which isn't good. I have Akka on my rack. Not seeing anywhere great for that. Great, opponent is back. And this is a tricky old game. So I can do Coty. 14 points, terrible score. Sticking a vowel over a premium square. I must be able to do better than this. I certainly do need to play off AC. I can't see a play in row K. I've got Cacao on my rack. Keeping double AT, 18 points. That's a little better than stuff I've considered. Quite dangerous sticking this A here. However, I haven't seen anything better. I'm going with this. Great, that's a pretty good pickup. I don't have a bingo, but it's not a rack from hell like the last one. Just looking at the W, I have Warv. Wow, 37 for opponent. And look at this, I don't have any vowels which goes to the left of the O, so I can't put my H and play down. I can play Thrave. 24 points, not a great score, and not a great rack leave. What about a play down from the R? Not seeing anything. What about a play ending AGE, a bingo? Not seeing anything. Can't see anything through the O. Close to reheat. Whatevs is only in the plural. Let me see what Warv looks like. It's 30 points, it's a good rack leave. 3 S's and 1 blank to come. I think I'm going to take the risk. I am behind. And there's a hot spot to the left of Cacao. There's a floating G. Is this a foolish thing to do? I'm not that far behind. 12 minutes on my clock. I'm going with this. Well, no S, so that increases the chances my opponent's got one. However, if he's got an S and not a bingo, he's got a decision to make. Whether to burn his S and take out row O, or whether to hang on to it in the hope of bingoing. Just 5 points between us. The floating G of Jiao is not particularly useful with this rack. Wow, fantastic bingo for opponent. He doesn't have an S, but he didn't need one. And I'm now significantly behind. So I have Gate, 21, quite a good rack leave. However, very few floaters on the board. So, is there an alternative play? If I had a U, I could have played Guangxi. 1 U left. If I draw one, I would still have Guangxi. Let me temporarily put this back, just in case I have a bingo that I'm overlooking. So at the moment, there's a floating R, there's a 7-letter lane, I think I do need to play here, because if I don't, opponent is simply going to play exactly where I'm playing, or parallel, and the rack leave is okay. I'm going with this. I have engraphed, there's nowhere for it, and I can't see anything through the available floaters, and I didn't draw the U. I trail by about 30 points. Now this hotspot next to the A of cacao still available, so my F can go there. Good score for opponent, 45 points. So my F can go here. I still don't have an I or O for going next to the O. What about playing Fanga? Good rack leave. Not hugely dangerous, this F in the middle of column 1. Opponent isn't going to score massively playing down from it. The only problem is the shortage of bingo lanes on this board, so there's really just the G of Jowers for an ING word. And I have no I's or N's on my rack, and the N is next to useless as a final tile. Unless I have something like reaction or creation. But I think I will play this. 26 points is a good score, and try and open the board up next turn. Well, a nice balanced rack. I have Tepida, nowhere for it because there are no bingo lanes, and I trail by 50 points, so I'm not in good shape. Yeah, just 21 points for opponent. However, he's now got a good bingo's lead. So how can I open the board up? If I had an A, I could play Taxi. Dixie is good, maybe that's the play. 24 points. In fact, I can make it Dixie for 36. I think that's the play. Pret, quite a good rack leave. Well, I draw an S, but it's not particularly useful. An I and an N would be most useful. But this D is quite good for me because it'll be hard for opponent to play a play in row C which blocks that as a bingo lane, and even if he does manage that, he won't score very much. So what am I going to do to sort this rack out? Not very much. Opponent ignores that bingo lane. It gives me an opportunity to create a new one, if I can. I trail by 60. And I'm looking in the bottom left to try and create a better bingo lane than just a G in last place. But it's hard. I would like to play off 1T. I'm inclined to play Prat for 14, good rack leave, and try and draw some vowels. And maybe open the board up next turn if I need to. Well, I do draw a vowel, but the rack as a whole is not bingo-y. F and Y in particular, non-bingo-y tiles. And it's really hard to open the board up. Maybe, well, a play in row G would just create one new floater. Wow, opponent burns the second blank. 36 points, but that might be a good decision. Trying to outrun me, he's 80 points ahead. I have one bingo lane. Some pretty unpleasant tiles out there, 2 Bs, 2 M's, a Q and a Y and a U. So I don't want to be going in for wholesale tile turnover, especially as all the blanks have gone. Just wondering if I have a play in column 3 running through G and N and getting doubled. Don't think I do. 7 minutes on my clock. Gosh, these S's are pretty useless. Just no S lanes available. I could play FES down here. 32 points, keeping stay. And I'm inclined to. There are still 2 bingo lanes on the board. And I think I need to split up the duplicate S. The S's are not doing anything for me. In which case I could play both of them here. But I think 1 S probably worth hanging on to. Well, I now do have vowels, which increases my hopes of a bingo in row C, and I have an I for column 3, but no N, however 2 to come. And if I play off YU, AEIST is a really strong 5-letter set, provided I don't draw 2 vowels. And I'm only 50 points behind. So where can I play off YU? I could play Yug. That's nice because that's opening a new bingo lane. It's not going to score very much, but I may not need to score very much. A bingo may be all I need to give me good chances of winning. Or rather, the difference between a big score next turn and a small turn probably won't alter my winning chances very much. Ryu is good, RYU, not quite in the right spot for this middle triple. So Yug is the only place I've spotted. Now, what about U and UG? Because YU takes an A in front, which I've got. No A's to come. And nothing else goes in front of U. That is the play. That will freak my opponent out. It may not be massively useful for me because it would require an A in last or second last position of a bingo. But I quite like that. And it stays available. So, choice here, not much difference in score. If I play YU, that's available for bingos ending in E. It's going to attract my opponent's attention to row H, which is going to leave row C alone. I think there are more bingos playable in columns 2 and 4 than there would be if I played YU. And that's the determining factor. 6 tiles to come. Just wondering if opponent's play in row H could enable him to outrun me. My bingo in row C is going to be face value. 5 minutes on my clock. 6 tiles in the bag. And only 4 vowels unplayed, which is fine since I'm going to be leaving this rack. I think if I play YU here, opponent can just play above YU, provided he's got an O. I'm going with this play, Yug for 8. So I have Isolate in row C, and I also have it in column 4. Is it going to be enough? I trail by 65. Opponent may be able to score well, but he may also have the Q. 4 tiles in the bag. Opponent will be drawing most of them. If he's got QI, he could play that underneath the D for probably a winning score. Isolating column 4 will get doubled, and it won't in row C. Are there any other bingo lanes I need to consider? What I need is for opponent to score very little and to have the cue or draw the cue. Can't see anywhere he can just offload the cue on the board at the moment as a single tile. And if he's got QI, QI and DI looks the obvious play for about 30 points. 5 minutes on both of our clocks. Pretty horrendous set of remaining tiles, especially if the 3 vowels are in the bag. Wow, opponent takes out the cue spot and doesn't score very much. Probably has the cue himself. So there's hope. Isolate. Wow, that provides a cue spot, which is annoying if opponent's got Q and I, and he probably does. 37 points. This is going to score me 72, 376. It's going to put me 11 points behind. So is there an anagram of isolate? It feels like there could be, but it hasn't come to mind. This could be crucial. And I note if I'd played YU the other way, then isolate would not have played. Well, I think I'm going to need to play isolate and hope that an I is in the bag. I'm only going to draw 1 tile, so whatever I draw, I'm not going to score very much. But I should get a decent amount in count back from opponent. 3 minutes on my clock. And I'm just pausing in case an anagram to isolate comes into my mind. I don't think a row B play onto the N is going to be better. DE takes an I and an O after it. So opponent has got a chi spot, which he may have set up. Well, I'm not seeing any anagram of isolate. So, moment of truth, I'm playing this. And I draw a Y, probably a good tile to draw. Opponent does have QI for up top, but then in terms of count back, I'll get 18, so he'll probably play cheese, and I'll get 16 on count back. Chin. Okay, so I trail by 52. I'll get 16 on count back. So I need to score 36 to draw. Not likely to happen with just a Y. However, let me scan the board. I do have 2 minutes. Noi is good for 6. Day for 7. Yem not good. U for 5. Nai for 10. Okay, so that's the best I can see. And the final score, 402 for me, 428 for my opponent, a winning margin of 26 points, so well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go fast. I didn't have a bingo, and I did play Woo. Horrible rack for opponent, and this is the rack he spent 5 minutes over. And PHT, a pretty good find. My rack, no bingo, and I play Je for 31. That looks fine. Great rack for opponent. And he has a couple of missed bingos here. Dreidels, I9 and Hod. And Slidder in the same spot. Both quite tricky to see. And he plays Hod. Yeah, keeping Slider, so he was keeping a very bingo-y rack. And I thought about Roll and Draw. And neither of them would have prevented opponent from bingoing, which he does with Dialers. However, I can come straight back with Zhowers. However, 4 more points available for Oliguria. But had I have seen that, I wouldn't have played it because it places an A next to this double letter square in row O. Opponent's rack plays Juva, and this was the rack which I think I struggled with the most. And wow, Cacao and Joe, I didn't think of that. I played Cacao for 18. I could have got 1 more point and gotten rid of another vowel, so Cacao and Joe would have been a better play. Opponent's rack plays Knox and H11. I didn't play that. Oh, wow, Heart over the top of draws. That's pretty good, 40 points. I played War for 10 fewer points, but jettisoning the V and opening up row O. So opponent didn't have an S for taking advantage of row O, but he didn't need that because I provided him with the perfect floater in the E for Intorted, which was a good find. My rack, E15 Gain for 28. I think I prefer my play here for 21. Far more likely to be used by opponent. And looking at his rack, he was close to being able to get his Z on that spot. Plays Azo for 45. I have Engraft, nowhere for it, and play Fanga for 26. Horrible rack for opponent, which File sorts out. Wow, Prexy, that would have been a nice play, creating a new bingo lane. What did I do? Well, I did something similar for 4 fewer points. I played Dixie for 36, and Pret, is that 4 points better than Dit? I don't think so, but I think there's not very much between those plays. Opponent plays Vane, and at this point I'm 61 points behind. And I play Pratt for 14 because I just have too many consonants and too many T's. Opponent's got the blank, burns it with Knit, and now I trail by about 80 and just 11 tiles in the bag. I play Fars, or do I? I play F-E-S, interesting. Fars, probably a better play. Not sure there are more E's than A's left. Opponent plays me, and now I have a rack which is close to a bingo. And I play Yug to create a new bingo lane, and I like that. I think these rack leaves are far inferior to my one of A-E-I-S-T. Opponent plays Ben, and now I trail by 80 odd, and Isolate is the only bingo. Opponent plays Chin, and finally Nye for 10, the only out, and it's not quite enough. So a really close game, and chances to win until right up until the end, but not quite enough chances with that final cue play proving crucial. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.